You see the crows? Can you make that sound? Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm just in the aviary with Smokey this afternoon. It's a nice sunny day out, so I've decided that since I have time, I'm going to shoot a short video, hopefully it's short, to talk to you guys about how Smokey gained her wings, also what struggles we had to deal with when she was doing that, and also to share with you some tips on how I fledged Smokey and what obstacles I bumped into, and also how I overcame them. So I've noticed that over the past few years, there's a growing number of people who are keeping flighted parrots. And this wasn't the case like 10 years ago. So just the fact that people are open to that idea now, and that a lot of birds now are being kept in captivity, not clipped, it's inspiring for me. But I also want to kind of share with you guys some of my insights on that, and also give you some tips, especially if you have an older bird, on how to train your bird to fly to you on cue. Keeping a flighted bird requires a lot more work on your part than a bird that's clipped. That's because you got to make sure, and you got to kind of make sure that whenever your bird is out, that all the doors, all the windows are closed to prevent any chances of escape. But also, it also requires you to train your bird how to properly fledge, how to recall back to you, just in case accidents happen. So I'm going to share with you guys a little story about Smokey. Smokey was clipped when she was about... Hi Smokes, I'm talking to the camera. Smokey was clipped when she was about 6 months old. You're the stinker. So this is what happens when you guys try to film a video when you have a parrot. So they always try to interrupt you. But like I was saying, she was clipped when she was 6 months old. Now I kind of thought that even though she was clipped, that it would be really easy for her wings to grow back. Most sources out there said that by the next molt, that their wings would probably all be molted back in. But the problem is, Smokey, step up. Good. Now the problem is, if you take a look at Smokey's wings, Smokes, let me see your wings. Good. If you guys take a look at it, normally when a bird that's flighted is molting, they only molt about 1 or 2 feathers, 1 or 2 flight feathers at a time. So when the new feathers grow back in, they're supported by all of the surrounding feathers, and that allows them to grow back normally. But when Smokey was clipped, see, all of the primary flight feathers were gone, so when 1 feather or 2 feathers started growing out, she would kind of damage them because she would, during normal play, she would just break them because they weren't supported by nearby feathers. So that was a big struggle, and in fact, it didn't take her until about after 2 years for all of her flight feathers to grow back in. So I know that a lot of you guys who have watched my videos in the past, you've often asked me how long it takes for your birds to grow back their flight feathers, and that really depends. It depends on the activity level of your bird, and also when their next molt is going to be. So I guess that can also go either way. I mean, if you guys are thinking that you want to clip your bird's wings and maybe allow them to grow back in the future, just be aware that they're not going to grow back as fast as you might think they will. Smokes, come. Good bird. Now, I also want to say at this time, guys, that there are some birds that are trained for outside free flight. But if you have a bird, don't kind of think that just because your bird trusts you, that they're going to stick around when you take them outside. Free flight training is very specific, and those birds that you do see flying outside are specifically trained for that. So unless you train your bird to do that, if you take your bird outside thinking that they're going to stick around just because they trust you, you're going to lose your bird. Okay, so when you guys are fledging and you're trying to train your adult bird how to fly to you, what you got to understand is if your bird has been previously clipped, which Smokey was, it takes a lot of time. So one thing that you guys will never see me do is I'm never going to post a video saying how to train your bird in like 30 minutes or something like that. That's because the amount of time that it takes you to train your bird how to do a specific task really depends on your bird and how much they're progressing. You should know that training is never a race. You're not going to get an award for the fastest trained bird. So take your time and just do it right. But when you guys are training your bird how to fly to you, and they're an adult, you gotta also understand that if your bird is previously clipped, your bird has this fear of falling. That's because the last time your birds try to use their wings, they landed on the floor, it hurt. And also, it was just a very negative experience. So, understand that the bird already has that past and that history kind of ingrained in them. So, if you come from it at that perspective and be understanding of that, then the whole training process is going to be much more fun and much more effective for both you and your bird. Okay, so the biggest tip that I have for you is this. If you're trying to get your bird to come to you the first time, I would always start with a flat surface. So Smokey right now is on this flat, I guess it's not completely, it's a wire shelving perch. But if you guys have maybe, I guess you can do this on a table, you can do it on your bed. But flat surfaces work best. That's because if your bird is perched on, like, let's say a branch, their claws are gripping on that branch. Smokey, come here. So if their claws are gripping on that branch, and they have this fear of falling, then they're gonna think, wait, you want me to get to there? So they have to mentally think to let go of their feet and make that leap of faith. So a lot of birds have that fear that they've learned over time, and that's why they don't let go of their perch to get to you. But if you guys start them off at a flat surface, they're not clinging on to a branch. Their claws are not kind of like locked. So if their feet are kind of like flat on the surface, Smokey, come, then they can simply just hop onto you, and that for them mentally is a lot easier. So I would always start your bird off on a flat surface. In the very beginning, don't try to ask for too much at once. So right now, I mean, Smokey's already trained for this, but this is really, guys, how I did this the first time I taught her how to come to me on cue. Start on a flat surface, and also start very close to your bird. You want this to always be a positive experience. You want to reverse the effects of them, you want to reverse the effects that kind of has been done to your bird all these years that they've been clipped. And that is that if they take that leap towards you, that they're not going to fall. So start off short, just have them hop onto your hand, and then reward. I know some of you right now are thinking this is much easier said than done, and I know. That's because Smokey, again, she's been trained for this, but believe me, back then, it was that difficult to get her to make that first leap of faith. So right now I'm just using sunflower seeds as treats. So you can show your bird the treat, they'll reach for it, and just put your hand out and say, come, good girl, and then reward with the treat. So let me try that again. You can show them the treat, come, good girl. So any small steps they take towards approaching you and trying to get to you, I would always reward that. Smokey, come. You want small hops in the very beginning. Good girl. Good bird, Smokey. And eventually, you don't want to always have to show your bird, well, actually before you even get there, if you guys are having a really difficult time with this, and your bird has a bond with you already, if treats aren't working, you can simply say, see you later, or I'll be back. Make it seem like you're leaving the room. Most birds, they always want to be around their human flock, so they'll try to get to you. So if treats don't work, you can always say that, like, I'll be back. The bird's going to try to get to you. Good girl. And then you can reward them with the treat. In the beginning stages of training also, guys, don't immediately put your bird back on the perch after they've come to you. Because most likely, they're trying to get to you not just for the treat, but they want to be close to you. So that the fact that they're able to get to you, that's reinforcing in itself. So let that last for just a little bit before you send them back. Now, the goal is we want to eventually fade away the treat. So I have my treats inside my pocket now. In my hands, I don't have anything. So now I'm just going to say, Smokey, come. Good girl. And then reach inside my pocket. And after I tell her good girl, I'll reward her with a treat. So here she's eating dried papaya. I always feel like I'm talking like a lot in these videos, but I feel just like there's so much that needs to be said and so much information that I want to relay to you. Good girl. Now eventually, once your bird is comfortable flying back and forth to you on a flat surface, you can then start to do the same thing and retrain your bird how to do this on a perch. Smokey, come. Good girl. There you go. Perch. Good. Smokey. Come. Good girl. Good girl. I also forgot to mention, guys, that when you're first training your bird for the first time to fly, they're going to have a lot of crash landings, and that's perfectly normal. That's what happens in the wild as well. But my suggestion is to practice in a very small area. So I have this aviary, this outdoor aviary that I practice in, and I really do recommend. I kind of wish that I had this when I first taught Smokey how to fly. But the benefit of this is that if your bird does have a crash landing, they don't really crash into anything because they can just kind of grab a hold of the side of the aviary and they don't really hurt themselves. Now, if you guys don't have access to an outdoor aviary, what you could do is you can work inside your bathroom. Just make sure you close the toilet lid. And also, maybe put different perches in the bathroom so that if they do miss your hand, that they can land somewhere else. So they have other alternative perching areas. Come here. Good girl, Smokey. And do know that the crash landings will get less and less once your bird hones their skill. And it just takes a lot of practice and a lot of trial. I can't stress enough that no matter how confident you feel in your bird, don't take them outside unless you have a harness on them or unless if they're in like a carrier. That's because know that despite your bird being able to fly really well inside, especially even if your bird's an adult bird, flying outside is a completely different story. So I don't want you guys to be an example, and I don't want your bird to be an example for people to use as a reason for why birds should be clipped in captivity. So always be cautious, be overly cautious. In fact, be paranoid about always closing doors, windows, and just make sure you take all those steps necessary, double check, triple check, so that your birds stay safe, even though they're flighted. As always, guys, I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys click the like button below. And also feel free to share this video, especially as you're in bird forums. Feel free to share it. And in the comment section below, I know that there's several of you who are really involved in interacting with my videos, and you guys often comment. But for this video, I want you guys to kind of share in the comment section below, what bird do you have? Are they flighted? And also, what level of experience do they have with recall training? So those three things, make sure you guys comment below so that my next video, I can kind of tailor the video to more fit my audience. And see you guys next time.